Check, check, 1, 2, test, test.
A little more.
A little more?
Yep.
Okay. Better? Test,
yeah, that's
test.
good.
Okay. Hear yourself. Let's make sure crowd.
Test, test. Good to go?
I think we're good to go.
All right.
Okay. Two teams headed for the national tournament will meet off in the GPAC championship game for the postseason tournament to settle the season series between the two as we get ready for the big stage and the big dance for both Jamestown and Dordt. It's GPAC postseason championship basketball on Jamestown 107.1 AM 1400 and Jimmie Athletics on YouTube. Jared Matheny, Luke Anderson to my right. Glad that you are with us tonight. GPAC championship game for the first time ever at Harold Newman Arena for men's basketball. The Jimmies joining the conference just 5 short seasons ago, and this is already the 3rd championship game for Jamestown that they've been in. They know the stage is bright. They know the lights are bright. It's the first time they get to play under the lights, though, here at home, Luke. And this environment, it feels like we're already ready to pop off here.
I agree that it's entirely different right now. Just sitting here, 13 minutes before the game than it was our last night out when I was here, anyways. You can feel the playoff atmosphere. Student section rolling in. I think this is kind of what you're looking for. You think of that, 3 or 5 years, GPAC championship. You probably won't script that. You're not anticipating that move coming into a tough conference like this. So I am super excited to get this one going.
Jimmies are 1-1 in GPAC championship games over the course of the last 5 seasons. They won 86-84 at Morningside back in 2019 to claim the crown in the first year in the conference, and then lost 77-70 at Concordia a season ago in the GPAC championship game. Now Jamestown gets Dordt, who's in search of their first postseason championship in 10 seasons. Dordt defeated Morningside 75-63 back in 2013 to claim their first and only GPAC postseason championship in men's basketball, and Dordt has been a part of this conference for a long time. That's something you go back to at Jamestown and say, be grateful you're in this position right now, and a lot of that is because of number 33, the all-time leading scorer, rebounder, and just do everything guy, and on top of that, the Jamestown native, who there's a lot of eyes on him certainly tonight as well.
Absolutely. We know we're on the home stretch here. In a perfect world, we get 3 games of him here at home. Obviously, with us being able to host the tournament, a heck of a get for the university, but you better enjoy every one you get, because you don't know when it will be the last. Obviously, we've got 2 remaining, regardless of what happens tonight,
yep.
But with the way the regular season ended, I can't imagine that we see anything other than a really, really hungry Jimmy team tonight.
I would think so, after losing to Dordt in the regular season finale. Before we touch on the first 2 matchups between these 2 sides, Luke, you just hit on it. Jamestown will be hosting the first and second rounds of the national tournament here for their pod. So 4 teams will be coming here to Newman Arena. Feels like Mayville State is probably going to be one of those teams after they won the North Star earlier, and then Jamestown will welcome in 3 teams to this pod at Newman Arena next Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll have coverage of all games here on Jamestown 107.1, even the ones the Jimmies aren't in. We'll have those games for you here, and then on Jimmie Athletics on YouTube as well. National tournament around the corner. Certainly that's what they've been talking about all year long, right, is getting to the national tournament, getting back on that stage, and finding a way to win more games in Kansas City. But you got to feel like it starts here tonight, Luke, with a good Dordt side that really will get you tested for the postseason run.
Well, you get on their stat line. I mean, they're top 10 in pretty much everything nationally, scoring-wise, field goal percentage, points per game. They rebound it really well. So this is going to be a real stiff test here for the Jimmies. And I just really have to think, coming off of the win this Saturday, excuse me. I just, if we come out in that same manner, I really don't think there's many teams that do stay with us when we're clicking, when we're on. And the Hastings game was an entirely different game to start the game. Right. So we need a quick start tonight, and I anticipate it'll be a really fun game.
Yeah,
tonight.
Quick start and good defensive pressure. That's kind of the key for Jamestown. We know that offense can come around at any given moment for the Jimmies, and they've proven it all year long. 86 points per game. They shoot better than 50% from the floor this season, but sometimes it's just the ball doesn't go in the cup, and you have to be able to play defense, and we saw that against Concordia for Jamestown. Defense then led to offense, and all of a sudden the Jimmies look like the Jimmies again, and they're off and rolling, and you're hoping that that performance kickstarts the next 7 to 8 games potentially for Jamestown.
Well, when you have that defensive pressure, I think it brings energy. The crowd never settles when you've got that energy consistently. So you can hit a couple big shots and you can bring some energy. But if it's consistent both sides of the floor, I think it just carries over so well. And I think that's a real point for these guys. When they are tough defensively, we can score with anybody. Tough defensively, pick your poison.
Right, and if you're tough defensively, you can score with anybody, you can play with anybody, and the Jimmies could beat anybody across the NAIA landscape. I don't think there's really any doubt about that. And the guy that kind of gets Jamestown started on the defensive end is Cole Woodford. 54 steals this season, is tied for third all-time in a single season in terms of steals, and he's just 8 off the record set back in 2006 and 2007. This is a guy that he gets locked in on defense. Certainly on the offensive side, the 3-ball opens up for him, but when he's got that grit on the defensive side, Jamestown's a whole different team because they can shut down your number 1 guy on most nights.
Absolutely. He brings that energy, and I do think it helps him on the offensive end. When his energy is up on the defensive end, it translates to the offense, and it translates to everybody. When he's really amped up and defending like that, and you got Chose, you got a number of guys that play really tough on-ball defense. It's just a matter of sometimes your matchups, height-wise, everything else. There's so much that plays into all that. So what does that look like tonight? I'm going to be interested to see if we're picking up. Are we finding them right at half court? Are we kind of bringing them up the floor? What does it look like defensively for us? Because, as I said, I think 90 points a game for Dordt, and we're shooting 50%. They're shooting 54% from the field.
Yeah.
That's a phenomenal number.
It's the best in the NAIA and one of the top percentages across the entire landscape of college basketball for this 2022-23 season. And head coach Brian Van Haften's in his 5th year with the Defenders, over 100 career wins with Dordt. They've been a wrecking force since he stepped on campus in Sioux Center, Iowa. 24-6 this season, 14-6 in the GPAC. And how about a win at Morningside to add to your postseason resume with a GPAC semifinal postseason victory, 83-82 at Morningside. It was Bryce Kopic with what ended up being the game-winning jumper, just under 3 seconds to play. Gave Dordt the lead. They get a stop on a half-court heave at the horn, and now the Defenders are here, and they're headed for the national tournament as well. That was what Jamestown's win over Concordia did for Dordt. It pushed them into the national tournament, and now certainly today they want to be GPAC postseason champions, but they'll have their attention ready for Thursday, that selection show, without any worry in the world on if they're going to be in or not, and that takes a whole weight off your shoulders coming into play today.
Well, you kind of get that. You get to play free and easy. Mm-hmm. You're on somebody else's court. You just knocked us off in the last game of the game of the regular season, so right now it's two sides of that. The Jimmies should really be having a target right now going, hey, we've got a bad taste left in our mouth. We got to make sure we take care of business tonight. And on the other side saying, hey, what do we got to lose? Let's just go have some fun tonight. We took care of business. Business they wanted to.
Right, exactly. And two teams who split during the regular season. Jamestown winning in Sioux Center, and then Dordt winning here in Jamestown. Dordt winning by 10. Jamestown won by 3 in Sioux Center. That 10-point difference, not totally indicative of how that game was up and down the floor. It was a great game between Jamestown and Dordt to round out the regular season, and the Jimmies were fighting for an outright regular season title. I think that saltiness just adds to the wound here tonight.
I think so, for sure. You take a look at that, and yeah, you'll take it based on the tiebreaker criteria, but I guarantee you they wanted that all to themselves. That outright first place was very important, and now you look at it now, and well, that's not so important, but getting this one now is that new carrot, so let's go make it happen.
And it makes makes you the champion of the GPAC, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If Jamestown wins today, you can be the co-champion with Morningside in the regular season, but you win the postseason title. You were the best team in the GPAC in the 2022-23 calendar year, and Jamestown wants that. For the number 11 Jimmies, 25-5 on the season, back-to-back victories, defeating Concordia by 18 points on Saturday, but it was all about the first half of play. Jamestown up 53-26 at the break, and defense and the offense picking up, and of course Mason Walters in the middle when he gets going, and we expect to see him against Vist tonight underneath. That's a great matchup, but when Mason gets going, he is the National Player of the Year, and there's not a lot of people who can stop him.
Yeah, I mean, you look at his GPAC Player of the Week, I think he was announced today, 35-8 over the last week here. Some phenomenal numbers.
5 times in 12 weeks he was the Player of the Week in this conference.
Yeah, again, he does so many little things. We talk about the stuff for the back to the basket or the post entries, but, you know, I think back to that Hastings game, I think he had 6 or 8 points off second chance in the second half. You know, he wasn't getting that initial stuff, so he found a way to get it done somewhere else. And the other piece of that puzzle is you got a group of guys that want to get him involved, because when he's involved, things become easier for them too. You know, that game can be played inside out. It's a really big piece to the puzzle for us.
Mason Walters, and the profile is rather lengthy for Walters. He started out as Mr. Basketball here in the state of North Dakota during his senior year, and certainly could have been in that conversation prior to that, I would guess,
Absolutely.
Luke. And then what he's done at Jamestown is remarkable. First all-time in career points, rebounds, single-season scoring. He's the 2-time Conference Player of the Year. I would venture to say he's about to be the 3-time Conference Player of the Year. He's probably going to be a 3-time first-team All-American, and just the most points in single-season UJ history. He scored at least 20 points in 27 of 30 games this year. Dordt was one of the teams that slowed him down in Sioux Center, and you got to feel like that, again, is another little bit of the salt to the wound for Mason Walters today, but he's dynamic. He gets inside, he can pick and pop from the outside, and he really is the heartbeat of this Jimmie basketball program.
For sure. I mean, the hometown kid aspect, every bit of it kind of plays into the legend that is, but essentially we're balanced when he's playing well, you know, and the one bright spot, you know, in their first game, they held him down, but we got to win in that game.
Right.
So we have plenty of guys that can compliment him and give a great look, but when it comes to this time of the season, you're looking for your brightest lights to really shine, and that's who he's been. You look at his, as you said, his numbers. I mean, it's a model of consistency. It's pretty incredible.
More than 2,500 points in his career and more than 1,200 rebounds for Mason Walters. He's averaged 22.1 points per game over the course of his 4 seasons here in Jamestown, and more points this year than any previous scorer, including himself, from a season ago, which is unbelievable. He'll surpass more than likely 800 points this season tonight here against Dordt. He's just 11 away from that marker. But what makes Jamestown go, like you said, Luke, they get that win at Dordt, it was Will Cordes, 35 points, 7 of 9 from long range. They need Cordes, Woodford, Chose to be those 1,000-point type of scorers in the postseason. It may as well start right now if you want to get those guys going.
Well, I think that was kind of the game that got Cordes really going down the stretch. I mean, that was his big, I don't want to say coming out game because he's had some big games, but that was a big game for him in the scope of the season. And to be honest with you, I always feel like you're going to have those 2 guys, so it's who are the other 2 that can contribute and give you some decent, you know, you'd like to see 4 guys in double digits. If you can get 4 guys in the double digits, generally speaking, when you got a guy that's scoring 15 to 30,
right,
you know, you're going to be sitting in a pretty good spot. And then it's who does those little hustle plays. You know, we've referenced different guys. Linus had some big minutes against Hastings. The week prior, we had Colby Vasquez come up with some big energy minutes. So there's always that need outside of those guys. So we've got 4 guys that can, you know, they've obviously stamped their place in history here for Jamestown, but some of those role guys we need tonight.
And we'll see if those role guys can get going off the bench. You think of Cam Ketchum, Colby Vasquez, Jimmy Linus, and then Cooper Olson. One of those guys, 2 of those 4 guys, if they can get rolling, Jamestown stands a really good chance of beating Dordt tonight. The defenders receiving votes in in the latest NAIA coaches poll. They are in the national tournament. So is Jamestown, but the GPAC postseason champion will be decided here at Newman Arena tonight on a snowy end of February. We'll step aside, take a 1-minute pause. University of Jamestown men's basketball head coach Danny Neville is after the break with your pregame interview. Then tip-off here from Newman Arena, Jamestown and Dordt for the GPAC postseason title in men's basketball right here on the Gym, as well as Jimmie Athletics on YouTube. University of Jamestown men's basketball head coach Danny Neville joining us on our pregame show. Coach, here we are, GPAC postseason championship game for your side. You've coached in one of these before. What do you expect the atmosphere to be like here inside of this building tonight with the GPAC postseason title on the line?
Yeah, I feel like the atmosphere is going to be good. It doesn't help with bad weather, but I feel like a lot of the community is going to come out and support. This is a big game for us and our community as well.
In terms of on the floor, what does it feel like out there for the guys in this type of environment? You were on the road at Morningside the last time you were in a postseason environment that you won in the GPAC postseason tournament. So what's it like for the guys on the floor as they try to deal with all the emotions?
Yeah, I mean, they've played in, we've always said it, but our guys have played in big games, so this should be, this is a big game and a cool opportunity for us, but just got to focus on how we play and what we have to do to win this game.
Well, focusing on you guys, but on the other side for Dordt, 54% from the floor if you round up from the field this season. That's tops in the NAIA. It's one of the best across college basketball. Why is this offense so efficient?
I mean, they have good players and they're well coached, and they can score, and they put guys in good spots, so it'll be a challenge for us, but our guys are ready for it.
What do you learn the last time around when they came here to finish out the regular season on your home floor?
That we need 3 crashers and 2 guys to get back. That was our biggest thing, and we tweaked our offense just a little bit, and we feel good about those minor tweaks.
How about Luke Rankin? How do you slow him down because he had 19 points the last time out?
Yeah, just got to do a better job on him, and we're doing a different matchup this time around, so we'll have Woodford on him, so it'll be a little different for him.
All right, Coach, what are you looking for first 5 minutes of this game from your side?
Just energy and enthusiasm. You're never going to control if the ball goes in the hoop or not, but you can definitely control your attitude and how you approach the game.
All right, Coach, appreciate your time.
Yep, thank you.
And we are almost ready for play tonight. University of Jamestown men's basketball in the GPAC postseason championship here on 107.1 Jimmie Athletics on YouTube. Jimmy starters being announced now. Let's take a look first at your starters for the Dordt defenders. A sophomore guard out of Grimes, Iowa is Luke Rankin. A junior guard at 5'11", also out of Iowa, Bryce Kopic, Cade Bleeker, Lucas Lorenzen, and Jacob Viss round out the starting 5 for the defenders here today. Head coach Brian Van Haften, 5th season. He's certainly one of the best coaches in the NAIA, and a tough task for Coach Neville to go up against mind-wise here today, Luke.
Absolutely. That's kind of what you want, though, in this situation. You really want to see the best and see where that's at, and you can see coaches talking before the game. It's always interesting to me, when you get in the game, it's so intense, but to be able to just sit and have some of those side conversations is always nice.
University of Jamestown men's basketball starting lineup is as follows, and it's pretty much been this all season long. A senior guard from Lake City, Minnesota, number 0, Mark Chose. A guard from Redwood Falls, Minnesota, and a junior, number 5, Cole Woodford. Reed Gassner, the sophomore guard and forward from Lake City. Out of Shakopee, Minnesota, number 55, Will Cordes. And then, of course, the big man in the middle, the home hometown kid, the all-time leading scorer, number 33, Mason Walters. Luke, I assume you've coached in this kind of environment before in some big postseason games. What's it like? What's Danny thinking right now on the other side as we get ready for tip-off?
For me, it's about having fun. I mean, honestly, like, you don't get these very often, you know, like a state tournament qualifying game, something like this. Enjoy it, because they don't come all the time. It seems they come quite often for the Jimmies in the last 5 years, but it is really something that the kids should really cherish, because these are really meaningful things to be a part of, and you always have this really tight-knit group of people, so really enjoy this.
Viss and Walters on the UJ logo. Walters wins the opening tilt. It's Jamestown basketball as we begin the GPAC men's basketball postseason championship here on the Gym and Jimmie Athletics on YouTube. Luke Anderson to my right, I'm Jaron Matheny. Jamestown basketball, right corner, Reed Gassner. Up top for Will Cordes, he drives against Rankin, spins downhill, out to the right corner. Gassner pops and off the iron. Board collected by Cade Bleeker. Here comes Luke Rankin up the floor, one of the best assist man in the entire country. 6.3 per game, is third nationally in terms of total assists this season. Looking for Kopic, left wing, and Chose draws the assignment tonight against Bryce Kopic. Handoff and back up top to Viss. Rankin dribbles in the free throw line, stops, pulls up against Woodford, contested shot, and an air ball from Bleeker. Or from Rankin, excuse me, and that's what you're looking
defensive
for.
possession. Yep. And it was interesting because they were very patient in their offensive approach, but we just settled in defensively. We just saw something I think is going to be really important for us offensively. We need Gassner to hit some of those shots tonight, because I think this is going to sit off of him a little bit, so we need him to knock down a couple.
Cordes inside the left elbow, spins it back up top, looking down to Mason Walters. Here he is for the first time against Lucas Lorenzen. Walters into the key, stops, right hook, can't fall through. It's Viss on the glass with his first rebound.
No help that time. They just played him straight up.
We'll see if that's the case throughout the game when Jackson Lusher gets in. You know, he's a very physical body against Walters on the inside. Top of the key, Viss. Off towards the right corner for Rankin. Baseline drive, Woodford. Ball poked up in the air and taken away. Chose on top of it for Jamestown. A minute and a half into the first half. No score between the Jimmies and defenders. GPAC championship game. Downhill drive. Chose. Left-handed lay-in goes.
Perfect start for Chose. Right there, just a nice rip and attack. Finish with the left. Great start.
Lorenzen, far side of the floor, picks up his dribble, has to hand off for Rankin, who will redirect traffic back up top for Kopic. 2 minutes into the first half, 2-0 Jamestown. Viss to the right wing. Handoff. Kopic, double teamed, dump back down to Viss, up top, Rankin, top of the key, three is through. Luke Rankin left open, and he will make Jamestown pay. We saw it the last time out.
Yeah, just a little slow on the scramble coming off the double.
Entry for Walters, right block extended, he spins to the baseline, kick out left corner, Gassner, open three, can't hit this one, high up into the air, loose ball picked up by Rankin, just one white jersey down there, it was Mason Walters on the offensive glass.
Pretty well balanced, just not a lot of attack on the back end of the attempt.
Viss handing off for Kopic, spins it back right wing for Jacob Viss, he takes the tray, too strong, Chose right on top of it, good environment early on here at Newman Arena. 3-2 Dordt in front of Jamestown. 17-10 first half. Chose baseline, spins all the way around to the inside. Handoff at the elbow. Gassner in for Walters. Right block midway through the shot clock. Now Gassner goes underneath the bucket. Nowhere to go. Spins it back out for Cordes. Inside at 10. Cordes, left elbow. Pull up. Jumper is through. Gotta have
really
that.
good patience, just great patience. It'll be interesting to see that secondary rotations, because I think some of those helps are going to be a dump to a dunk for some guys.
Lorenzen three is too strong. Chose with another rebound. He's all over the glass early for Jamestown. Not a bad thing either. That gets them out in transition a little bit faster. There he is, straight to the rim and in for two.
Very pretty. Ball controlled all the way through.
6-3 Jamestown. Kopic inside. Runner doesn't go. Tapped out of bounds. It belongs with Dordt. 16-27 first half. 6-3 Jamestown in front.
Here's the pace we're anticipating. Yep. I think we're going to see a lot of this up and down. Incredible pace.
And we saw it was slow to start the last time out too. These groups, they felt each other out. They don't need any more time.
Time to move on.
It's time to start scoring. Viss, far corner. Rankin dumps in for Lorenzen. Walters is on his hip. Lorenzen backing into the paint. Fadeaway jump shot is pure. 6-5, Jamestown in front.
You just tipped your hat right there. Tough move. Takes his time. A little bit of a fade. Good luck.
Chose. Screen up top from Walters, dribbling downhill right side, spins it back to the top of the key. Walters for three, just off to the right side of the iron, kicked out for Rankin. Luke Rankin up top, and now we'll look inside Lorenzen. Try to get it to Viss. Here he is against Gassner. Backing inside, back out up top. Rankin right back in for Viss. No help for Jamestown. Right hook doesn't drop. Offensive rebound to Viss. He goes back in and up for two.
Just not finishing the possession. The shot went up. Got to roll into a body there and make sure we get a block out.
7-6 Dordt. 15.5 minutes first half. Chose off a screen left from Gassner. Cordes sets a screen on the inside. Gets the touch right wing. Woodford back towards the top. First time it's seen his hands offensively. Shot clock to 10. It's Cordes with a basketball. Screen left from Walters. He goes right. Cordes inside of 15. Knocks down another pull-up.
Good little action. Just be very patient with it. Take what they're giving you.
8-7 Jamestown in front of Dordt. 5 minutes off the clock here in the first half. GPAC Men's Basketball Championship. Right side drive. Kopic gets to the rim and lays it in for two.
This will be that kind of chess match back and forth.
Woodford pulls up for three, too strong. Gassner towards the glass, jump ball, and possession alternates to Dordt. Jimmy Linus, Colby Vasquez in for the first time for Jamestown.
And that's going to be a really interesting piece, you know, that rotation piece. Who's going to get their rotations in, because there's going to be some fatigue tonight. At the pace they're playing, you're going to have to get a good established rotation.
14:45 first half, 9-8, Dordt leading Jamestown. Jackson Lusher is into the game for the first time for the defenders. Rankin with a pass for Bleeker. Free throw line up top against Cordes. To the right wing, Kopic looking inside. It's the elbow. Lusher dumps down to Viss. Linus against him. Shot clock to 5. Viss bangs inside. Rises. Can't finish over the top, and it's Walters to grab the rebound.
Really good job by Linus, just keeping his ground.
Cordes pull up again. Right side. Soft touch. 10-9 Jamestown. 6 minutes into the first half.
That's the look you want to see on his face coming back to play defense.
He's got some sort of swagger back in that 55 jersey here as Viss goes straight to the rack. Another lay-in for two. Lots of offense here early.
Yeah, and that's one of those. Just settle in defensively. Take away strength. Just don't overextend.
Vasquez around the arc to the right side. Up top for Walters. Screen from Vasquez. Walters downhill against Lusher. Sends back out up top. Vasquez driving. Went to go to his patented move. It's Linus with a lefty hook instead. Short. And on the glass, it's Bleeker.
It's kind of his little honey hole right there. Those go for him. He loves that little left hook.
Rankin through traffic. Gives up for Kopic. Bryce Kopic, honorable mention All-American a season ago, probably on that All-American list this year, as well as Jacob Viss potentially. It's Bleeker inside, fades away, and there's Walters again.
It's interesting because the tempo kind of comes and goes. You know, if they're seeing and they're taking it, if not, we're being patient. I think part of that right now is I think both teams are a little bit tired.
13 minutes left in the first half. We've yet to have a whistle here in this game. 11-10.
I love how it's being called.
Yeah, I totally agree. Dordt in front of Jamestown. Linus top of the key. Bounce pass in for Mason Walters. Lusher on his back. Walters gets into the paint, and it's a reach-in foul on Lusher. And there's our first whistle of the game.
And I think that's, I love what he did there. He just didn't wait. He just went up through the body. So with it, the way they're playing him, especially with Lusher, is he's got that low center of gravity, so you got to get into the body really hard, so just go right through the contact.
Reed Gassner on for Mason Walters as he gets his first rest. All points for Jamestown coming from the guard so far. Gassner gets his first.
Big time shot.
That's huge.
Because they are literally sitting so far off him right now. We're going to need a good night from Reed.
Just off the right corner outside from 15. Gassner gives Jamestown the 12-11 lead. 12.5 minutes first half. All white for Jamestown, all black for Dordt today. In terms of the uniforms, Viss against Linus, backing down inside. He's isolated out on that side on his own. Spins to his left shoulder. Linus stayed up, but Viss still finishes over the top.
That's pretty darn good defense. It's really good offense. I think right there you almost got to pull the chair on him. If he's banging in there, you just got to step away.
Linus Handoff for Chose around the screen. Chose, underhand toss. Gassner against Lusher. Backs his way inside. Reed Gassner going to work. Went to step through. Kick back out. 10 on the shot clock. Chose spins it up top. Gassner faked the three. Now back out for a Chose tray. He got it.
Great two-man game right there. I really liked Reed on the penetration, the kick. Great look.
Mark Chose with 7 points already. 15-13 Jamestown. Defense chance raining out here in Newman Arena. Double team up top. Kopic nowhere to go. Has to bounce it back for Lusher. Kick out left corner. High note for three. Too strong. Linus on the rebound.
And Linus's length on the top of that double is tough.
Chose calling for a screen from Linus. He goes left side, loops it up, missed it. Off of Linus's hands, he corrals left corner. Gassner hoists. He got it.
Big time hit.
That's a huge three for Reed Gassner.
Big time hit right there. That'll change the trajectory of this game. He's knocking those down.
9 minutes off the clock here in the first half. 18-13 Jamestown. GPAC men's basketball postseason championship game. Viss outside look. Oh, splash for Jacob Viss.
Perfect answer if you're Dordt. That's exactly what you needed.
9 points early for Viss. Cordes beyond the right elbow, sinks another.
He's shaking the head.
Yep,
you don't have an answer. You don't have an answer.
This is trouble for Dordt. Will Cordes, Mark Chose are feeling it early. 10.5 minutes first half, 20-16 Jamestown. Bleeker downhill and finishes off the window. I mean, tough shot after tough shot for Dordt.
I think right now it's a matter of taking away strength. We're giving them too much of their strength. Make them adjust.
Chose lost his dribble and he is out of bounds. Turnover Jamestown. First turnover by the Jimmies today. Mason Walters back in, and here comes Jimmy Linus to the bench.
When I'm talking about that, give them their strength. They're not having to adjust. They're not changing direction. They're going to their strong hand. They're doing what they want with first move. You got to make them get to second or third move on anything.
Ben Fairclough on for the first time. Bleeker goes to the bench. So Viss and Fairclough on the floor. Jamestown a little bit smaller at the moment. Left elbow, Fairclough back out up top for Jacob Viss. Jimmy's leading by 2. Viss on the inside against Walters. Gives it towards the left corner. High note. 1 foot on the ground. Back out for Fairclough. Shot clock inside of 10. Viss on the drive against Walters. Fouled. And 2 free throws coming for Jacob Viss. 9:54 first half. 20-18 Jamestown.
He's very smooth. Just got great patience. Did a good job. And you'll notice Mason defended him pretty well, but he did a really good job of just drawing that contact. Leaned into the body.
Jacob Viss, 74% at the free throw line this season. First attempt is through. An honorable mention in the conference in the last 2 seasons. 19.5 points a game, almost 8 rebounds a contest. He's probably a first teamer this season.
Well, shooting 66% from the field. Yeah, I can't imagine he wouldn't be.
Viss 1 for 2 on this trip, though. Jamestown holds on to a 1-point lead.
He has not left this game, though. We're going to have to make him defend to get him fatigued.
Starting to breathe a little bit heavier there in that 34 black jersey. Vasquez for Cordes. Right elbow again. Jump shot too strong. Gassner taps it down. Rebound for Walters. Backs into Lusher. Goes straight up. Walters with his first bucket.
Absolutely. You're long enough. Shoot right over the top.
Exactly. Rankin towards the Jimmy bench. Fairclough up top for Viss. And now left wing Lusher against Walters, who sags off. Lusher going inside. Kick out to the right wing. Vasquez scrambles. Now Rankin gets it back from Viss. Rankin downhill. Pull up inside the left elbow. Rimmed out. Jamestown with a basketball up by 3. Gassner, right corner. Too strong. Offensive rebound to Vasquez. Those are the hustle plays for the bench guys.
Absolutely.
Walters, double team. Vasquez cuts in. Left-handed play in.
Just played off the post so well right there. Nice hard cut.
5-point lead for the Jimmies. 8:45 first half. Viss looking to isolate against Gassner. A little help from Vasquez. Rankin back to the left side. Kopic's been on the bench for a while here for Dordt. Top of the key. Viss 3 is off.
Tired 3 right there.
Hands off for Chose. You may see Viss come out of this game here. Wrapped down inside to Walters. Backing in on Lusher. Mason does have the 1 personal foul. Takes his time. Goes up. Missed off the glass. Fairclough loose ball. Vasquez picks it up. Great hustle play from Colby Vasquez. Chose, deep 3. Kicked out. Gassner, offensive rebound, and throws it off of Fairclough. Hustle and effort unmatched for Jamestown right now.
When the percentage comes along, this could get dangerous because right now our energy level is fantastic. Every hustle play is ours right now. 2 big-time plays by Vasquez and Gassner right there.
And we got a timeout incoming for Dordt. 24-19 Jamestown. 8:06 left in the first half. It is a full timeout for the defenders, so we'll take the break with them. Jimmy's, though, that energy, you're feeling it through the building right now.
Oh, my gosh, yeah, right. This is playoff basketball. Absolutely a blast.
Playoff basketball at its finest. Postseason championship in the GPAC. 24-19, Jamestown on top. 8:06 first half. Pace of play so far between Jamestown and Dordt. Expected nothing less here in the GPAC men's basketball postseason championship. Jaron Matheny, Luke Anderson here on 107.1 AM 1400. Jimmie Athletics on YouTube. And Luke, so far, you feel like the defense for Jamestown has kind of opened up the offense here today?
Absolutely. Energy is there all over the floor. You know, what they've got, they're hitting tough shots. You know, there's not a lot of wide open looks right now. Viss has been a little bit of a handful here to start. And I mean, he shoots 66% from the field. So he's going to get his. It's about slowing everybody else down. And he remained on the floor. I thought there was a sub coming in for him, but he's going to stick it out. That's, I'll tell you what, some elite conditioning.
So what does that tell you here as a coach? Do you try to attack him as much as possible?
100%.
Cordis, Vasquez, Walters, Gassner, and Woodford, the 5 on the floor for Jamestown. 8 minutes to go first half. Jimmy's up by 5. Cordis up top to Walters, left wing Woodford, inside at 10 on the shot clock. Woodford goes down to Walters. This time it's Lorenzen on his back. Big advantage for Walters. Right hook, too strong. Rebound loose, and it's off of Jamestown last.
So many hustle plays, so many big-time tips right now out of Reed Gassner. He's playing a whale of a ball game.
You need those hustle plays. We've seen a few from Vasquez, a few from Gassner today. Gassner and Viss share a smile as they come across midcourt. These two guys, they love competition, and it's at its finest right now. Lorenzen tried to reverse lay-in. Good help. Walters got back to it. Vasquez and Jamestown up ahead. Woodford driving downhill, kick out right. Vasquez into the paint, sends it up top. Gassner, top of the key, 3. Rimmed off. Mental game, I feel like.
Touching every part of the rim right now. He's had the last 2 in and out, so he needs to stay confident.
Rankin left to Lorenzen, the freshman out of Milford, Iowa. And now Viss handing off right for Hinote. Hinote against Vasquez, dribble to the baseline. Hinote fouled from behind by Vasquez. And a 50% free throw shooter is headed to the line for Dordt.
Not worst case scenario on that. I mean, if you're beat to the basket, I wouldn't even mind seeing Gassner post up on Viss a little bit right now, because if he's posting up on him, it's going to put a little bit of physical pressure. So catching that wing, just dribble into a post. Into a post look.
First free throw off for Hinote. Camden Belis is on the floor for the first time for the defenders. Kopic going to check in for Hinote if he makes this free throw.
Great minutes from Vasquez right there.
Chose back in for Jamestown, starting 5 on the floor for the Jimmies. Hinote 1 for 2, and that brings Bryce Kopic back into the game. 24-20 Jamestown, 7:02 first half. No Viss on the floor. Now what do you do offensively?
Well, I think you stick with what works for us right now. You don't have a whole lot of a change with the way they've defended us, more than likely.
Fairclaw is on Chose right now.
Matchup there.
Yeah, very unique. Gassner inside. Lorenzen again on the back of Walters. Shot clock to 12. Mason Walters going inside. Fouled by Belis. Oh, and Walters gets called for a travel.
And I think he got bumped, and I think there was a little bit of a foot switch, but I think I'm the only one that thinks that right now.
Yeah. Travel on Walters, 24-20. Jamestown in front by 4, 6:41 first half. Just the second turnover for Jamestown, I believe, today.
This is a pretty clean game. Not a lot of whistles. I'm loving it.
3 turnovers between the two sides so far. Belis at the left elbow. Kicks off towards the Jimmy bench for Kopic. Screen left side, Kopic into traffic, back out for Rankin, midway through the shot clock. 6:20 first half, Jimmy's up by 4. Belis going against Walters. Left hook shot, falls through.
Tough shot. Good look from Belis. That's a great move.
And those are good minutes off the bench right now for Dordt from Camden Belis out of Parker, South Dakota. Woodford, high key 3, big shot for Jamestown.
Anytime you get one more person in that perimeter rotation.
Under 6 minutes to go, first half, 27-22. Kopic, bounce pass off for Belis. That's Woodford's first made shot for Jamestown today. Lorenzen lost it off his foot, loose ball on the floor. It's going to Jamestown. Kopic touched it last.
Great hustle. Those are those impact plays. Great hustle.
Going after a loose ball right now. Will Cordes 4 for 5. Chose 3 for 5 from the field. And Jamestown leading by 5. 27-22, Jimmies, 5:41 first half. Gassner, Chose, Cordes, Walters, Woodford. Some guys with some heavy breath for Jamestown right now, too, all of a sudden.
Absolutely, sustained minutes.
Out on the left wing, up top to Will Cordes. He drives, got to his spot, right elbow, and hits again. You can't let him get there.
It's about three on this night alone that he's pulled up in that same spot.
He's comfortable right now as Will Cordes. 5 for 6 from the field, 10 points for the junior out of Shakopee. Kopic over Chose, good pull-up jumper.
Great pull-up.
Look kind of similar to that game winner against Morningside. Chose downhill drive, blocked late by Bleeker, who scrambles and gets the rejection.
Really
the hometown kid for Dordt with a block there.
Yeah, really good help, basically late defense for Bleeker right there. He was burned pretty bad, and he just kind of waited for that shot to go up.
5:08 first half, 29-24 Jamestown. Gassner, left elbow, back out towards the right wing. Walters dribbling inside. Belis just circling in the paint right now. Walters goes up, right hand, and off the iron.
I think on those, it's a kick and repost right now. They're just being very patient with it. Just kick it out, reseal.
Walters late help. Belis offensive rebound back for 2.
Backside slide.
Yep.
You know, the rotation went, and you got to have a slide on the backside to get a body.
3-point Jamestown lead. Woodford looking to make it 6. Too strong, and a little bit of a rush shot there for the Jimmies. Rankin ahead for Kopic. Good stop. Jamestown needed to slow this game down a little bit, it felt like. Rankin dribbles right, pulls up, left elbow, soft touch falls.
Great look. Super confident with the ball tonight, for sure.
29-28, Jamestown, 4:10 first half. Chose on the far side, wraps around a screen to the left elbow, dumps down to Walters. Kick out left, 15-foot jumper for Gassner is good.
That'll be there all day, as deep as they're sinking.
4 minutes first half, Kopic driving inside, put back Belis, and a foul on Jamestown.
A little bit of fatigue right now and just a little bit of disjointed defensively. It almost looks like we're scrambling for matchups right now.
Belis to the line to shoot the and 1. Jackson Lusher is on. Lorenzen to the
really
bench.
big minutes from Belis right now. He's had a really good impact, a really nice impact for Dordt.
Averages just 3.5 points per game. He's hit 4 already. And 1 free throw. Makes it 5 for Camden Belis. Senior, again out of Parker, South Dakota, 6'9", providing big minutes for Dordt here in the GPAC title game. 31-31, Jamestown and Dordt. 3:45 first half. Cordes inside the free throw line, has another.
The honey hole.
Yeah, he just can't be stopped right now. Will Cordes 6 of 7 from the field. Rankin off for Belis. Back out to Kopic, right back inside. Belis skip pass towards the right. Rankin for 3, and the lead for Dordt.
Man, it's just back and forth right now. Great ball rotation into a wide open look.
Dordt shooting above 50%. Jamestown just under that 50% marker, trailing by 1. Chose out for Gassner, open 3. Reed Gassner, just 3 of those have popped out for him.
And I tell him keep shooting it. It looks pure. They're going to drop.
Bleeker off the front iron. Gassner rebound, and Lusher just picked up, I believe, his second.
Yeah, got up under him on the jump. Really good position by Gassner right there. I hope they're all telling him right now, you take that shot, because everything has looked really good out of the hand. They're going to fall.
That is the second on Jackson Lusher. Problem is for Jamestown, Belis has given such good minutes that you may rather see Lusher on the floor right now.
I think it appears that way right now. Belis has played a really good half.
3 minutes first half, 34-33. Dordt with a lead on Jamestown. Linus is in for Walters. Other than that, starting 5 on the floor for the Jimmies. Linus, Gassner at the volleyball line, right to Cordes. Off a screen, Cordes pulling up again. 15-foot jumper, this time short. Got his own offensive rebound, got bumped into by Lusher. No whistle, Jamestown resetting with 15 on the clock. Linus back for Cordes, dribble inside. Cordes stops, spins into Linus. Right hook shot, too strong, tapped around. Loose ball underneath, picked up by Rankin. Dordt up ahead, Rankin, pull up, free throw line, and good.
He's feeling it.
Yep. Timeout, Jamestown, 36-33. Dordt in front, 2:20 first half, just a 30-second pause, so we'll keep it right here. It's got to change for the Jimmies right now.
It's transition defense right now. They're getting an early offense right now, just out of that transition. It's not even a lot of screening actions right now. It's just maybe struggling to locate matchups and making sure you get a hand in somebody's face. Now, offensively, we're just a little bit disjointed. There's nothing flowing right now. When it's coming off that penetration from Cordes pretty consistently right now. But we need to be able to establish some ball reversals and make them defend a little bit, because I think they're playing with a lot of energy, because they're not expending a lot at the other end right now.
Make them work a little bit harder on the defensive end. Things might come easier on the other side for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. You've got to keep pressure on them on both ends.
3-point lead for Dordt, 2:20 first half. Defenders trying to beat Jamestown on their home floor for the second time this season. Jacob Viss is back in, but immediately, you saw that, it's Lorenzen on Walters, not Viss.
Yep, Viss went and told him.
Yeah.
You got him.
Woodford, left corner, up for Cordes, near the wing. Dribble inside, Cordes hangs in the air, kicks out right wing. Chose gets the defender to step by, takes the three off the backside of the heel. Inside, offensive rebound, Woodford. Now Walters going up against 3 black jerseys, in for 2.
Just need to see one go through like that. And again, that's off of a second chance opportunity.
36-35, Dordt, 1:45 first half. Rankin extended from the elbow into the hands of Bleeker. Now right side, Kopic down for Viss. Help comes from Walters. Viss inside, goes to the right hand and gets another.
And I think that's a little, we're sitting on the wrong shoulder. I think we've just got to make him do something the opposite way. Make him do something different.
Jamestown with under a minute and a half to play in the first. Off a screen, Cordes wraps around. Jump shot for Gassner. There it is. It's open. He hits it.
That short corner right there, that's 2 times in the last, 5 trips. If he sits, he'll get that all night.
38-37, Dordt leading Jamestown. Coming up on a minute to play in the first half. This, handing off left side, curling inside, Bleeker, spin move, left-hand finish. Lorenzen, the freshman, makes it 40-37.
Explosive spin and finish.
Less than a minute to play now in the first. Walters backing in. A foul called on Lorenzen.
Yeah, and I think that's one that's typically on every trip, but anytime he gets away from the body, it just makes it easier to see it. Yeah, they're bumping all over the floor. It's not that anything that Mason hasn't seen before. It's what you see every night, but...
Quick inbound from Chose to Walters. Everybody vacates. Walters, right hook shot over the top. That's too easy.
Don't waste your time. Get right to it. That's exactly right. I love that.
About a 12-second difference between shot and game clock. A foul on Woodford. Rankin went barreling in. Yeah, I don't know what you're supposed to do defensively.
Almost looked like he was in retreat mode at that point, and decent position. So, but Rankin's had a heck of a first half here. So, what do you do? 40-39,
Dordt. Wraparound pass inside, easy points for Bleeker there, and that'll give Dordt another chance on the offensive end potentially.
It's like a little bit of a pick-the-picker action right there. It's one of the oldest out of bounds that you'll see in basketball.
42-39, Dordt. Jamestown looking to dribble out the rest of this first half if they can. 3-second difference between shot and game clock. Jimmies start the motion. Far corner, flip out, Gassner to tie. Got time to think about it, it goes through. We're tied at 42, final 5 seconds. Rankin calmly pull up for 3, missed it, and we head into the half. Tied 42 all, .2 still on the clock, but nothing to do here for Jamestown. Gassner throws it up, Walters, and yeah, it's got to be a tip.
Got to be a .4 if you ever get anything like that. That Rankin shot right at the end was kind of a little bit of a epitome of what we've had going on. Just nobody picked him up right away. Obviously, it was a tougher look, kind of a little bit deeper there, but it's just us being a little bit better in our defensive transition.
Well, what a first half it was offensively between these two sides. Dordt, 54% from the field. Jamestown, 49%. The Jimmies, 4 of 15 from long range, and pretty carefree basketball. 2 turnovers on each side in the first half. And those are numbers coaches like. Lots of offense here. I think both guys would like some defense in the second half.
Well, you're 42-42. We've got no free throw shot on one side, only 5 on the other side. 4 of 15 from 3. That's a lot of scoring for not putting up a lot of threes and not getting a lot of freebies. So plenty of scoring to go around.
42 all at the end of the first half of play in the GPAC postseason championship for men's basketball. Jamestown and Dordt squaring off, trying to figure out who will go away with the season series victory, as well with the GPAC postseason title. Both teams are headed to the national tournament, but you wouldn't tell based on what we've seen on the floor so far.
Absolutely,
they definitely look like 2 tournament teams.
Absolutely, it's playoff basketball at its finest right now. There's not an inch being given on either end of the floor right now, and it's halftime. You walk in, you say, "Hey, we win the second half, we win the game." It's a tie ball game at halftime. All you need is 1. So
simple
find
as
a way.
that. 42-42, Jamestown and Dordt at the halftime break. We'll come back in 4 minutes with your first half stats here on the Gym and Jimmie Athletics on YouTube. At the Winter Sports Building in Jamestown at the Wilson Arena. Bring your own ice skates or rent a pair for just $5 from our facility. Open Skate is a fun and affordable family activity. Daily admission ranges from $5 per child to only $8 per adult, or bring the whole family for $15. Find all the dates and times for Open Skate on the John L. Wilson Facebook page. We hope to see you there. Where do teams go to get their custom printed apparel? Where do companies go to get their corporate logo printed on shirts, caps, and jackets?
Originals, of course.
And where do fans go to get their Blue Jay and Jimmie apparel, either off the rack or single-piece prints?
Originals! Originals!
There you have it, folks. For custom printed apparel, embroidery, and work apparel, it's Originals, 216 First Avenue, downtown Jamestown. halftime here at Newman Arena. University of Jamestown, number 11 in the country, and the Dordt Defenders, who are receiving votes in the latest NAIA poll. Two teams who are headed for the national tournament, squaring off in the GPAC championship game. 42 all at the break. Jared Matheny, Luke Anderson here on the Gym, and Jimmie Athletics on YouTube. Luke, what was your biggest takeaway from that first half of play between these two sides who we saw here at Newman Arena just 11 days ago facing off?
Well, I think for us, it's feast or famine. We've had some stretches where we've kind of struggled to score for a little bit, and then we'll score in bunches, and that's not totally uncommon. We're definitely a team that has those highs and lows, but generally, the lows are reduced, and scoring 42 at half is nothing you can be too disappointed in. Right now, it's just a little bit of that defensive transition. I think being in a better defensive stance, ready for that, ready for the initial offense, and then forcing them into their second or third moves. For Viss in particular, he's kind of had his way over that left shoulder. I think you just got to find a way to make him try and turn back into your help or do something a little bit different. He's got great patience. He's handled things very well, and they've shot the ball well on the perimeter too. So, I mean, it's two teams that are both shooting the ball pretty darn well right now. Yeah,
that would be the case, and it's been the case all year for both Dordt and Jamestown, with the Defenders the best field goal percentage in the country. 54.5% in the first half, 18 of 33. Jamestown 19 of 40. Jimmies were +4 in the rebounding category and +4 on the offensive glass in that first half of play. Points in the paint favoring Dordt 24-12. Second chance points even at 9. Bench points 8-2 in favor of the Defenders. 12 first half points for Jacob Viss, 10 points for Luke Rankin in the first half. Viss just 2 rebounds. That's something that a little give and take there with Jacob Viss, because when he does score, usually he's on the glass too, getting putbacks. So that's one thing, but he's also shooting 56% from the floor.
Yeah, and obviously he shoots at a very high clip to begin with, so you just really got to try and find a way to get it out of his hands, but at the same time you can't help too much because you got a number of shooters on the floor with him too, so tough matchups all around.
Camden Beelis with 7 points in the first half in just 5 minutes played. He was 3 for 3 from the floor. For Jamestown, Reed Gassner, Will Cordes each with 12 points in that first half. Will Cordes played 20 minutes, so he did not lead the floor in the first half of play. And Mark Chose with 19 minutes played in that first half also had 7 points. Kind of felt like, and you talked about it with Dordt and Jamestown trying to get back in position defensively, but when Mark Chose was grabbing rebounds for Jamestown early, it felt like the offense was getting started and looked a little bit smoother for the Jimmies.
I think transition was a little quicker. It got in his hands, and you got guys sprinting the floor, rim running and making sure they're getting to a spot, and that definitely gets us going. He's an energy guy for us, through and through. I think the points in the paint, they almost had us double during the first half. If you'd have told me that and told me it was going to be tight at halftime, I would have said, no, we're going to be down for sure if that's the case. But we've done a nice job of staying balanced and obviously Cordes staying hot and being able to get to his sweet spot has been great. And Gassner stayed aggressive even though he felt like he, a couple threes could have went down that did not.
And is that something you'd be telling Reed at halftime right now in the locker room? Just keep going, because he has been open.
And everyone he's taken has looked good coming out of the hands. It's just a matter of, you just got to see that one go through. And I don't know if you noticed that when he hit that last one, he turned and kind of put his arms up in the air like, finally.
Thank goodness, yeah.
And I think it's just a matter of, there's such a mental mindset to everything you do in basketball. You need to see that ball go through the hoop to gain that confidence. You did that short corner, and it was a couple in a row. With that being said, I would imagine they're going to probably establish some post presence here right away to start the second half, make them defend us a little bit, and that's exactly what I'd be saying to Reed. Like, it's going to get kicked out to you early and often here, because if this is sitting so deep, somebody's going to have to pull him out of there.
Walters, 6 points, 5 rebounds in that first half. What do you got to see different from Mason? 33%, I mean, give or take here, but when you're a guy who shoots 64% usually, there's something going on inside, but it feels like the opportunities have been there for him.
They have been there. I think the solution was what we saw the last 4 or 5 trips. He caught and just turned and shot. Right now, they're not defending him with length, they're defending him with strength. So if that's the case, just get right to your hook. Don't wait, don't bang, just turn and shoot. And you know, he's catching it deep enough right now. He's shooting from 8 feet. Just turn and shoot that.
Similar to what we saw against Hastings when they were here in the GPAC quarterfinals. And I would expect to see kind of the second half we saw against Hastings for Mason Walters here today.
I would too. I'd anticipate there's going to be a definite focus right there, and I'm imagining them, they're probably having some of that conversation. When you catch, don't sit and wait, just turn and shoot. If they're not bringing help, because what they end up doing, if you know, when you watch a lot of teams defend him, they're getting so low into his body to not allow that not allow him to back down and get any deeper. If that's the case, you know, the height difference, he could turn and shoot without even jumping over the top of that defender. So just take what they're giving you and be good with that.
42-42, Jamestown and Dordt tied at the halftime break. 20 minutes to decide a GPAC postseason tournament champion, or I guess potentially more if we see overtime.
Absolutely.
Feels like this is one of those games that could be headed that direction. 42 all at the break. Jamestown and Dordt tied here at Newman Arena. When we return, second half action on the Gym and Jimmie Athletics on YouTube. 42-42, Jamestown and Dordt tied at the halftime break here in GPAC men's basketball in the postseason championship. The Dordt defenders being represented twice in the GPAC championships for basketball. On the women's side of things, Briar Cliff leading Dordt at the half, 48-39. Chargers were the number 2 seed coming into the postseason tournament. Here in Jamestown, we get seeds 1 and 3. Pretty chalk this year. The number 1 seed had gone down 3 years in a row in the GPAC postseason tournament in the first round.
In the first
to the
round.
8 seed.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's got to be some kind of a statistical record.
Yeah. Jamestown basketball to begin the second half of play. Jared Matheny, Luke Anderson on the gym, and Jimmie Athletics on YouTube. It's Woodford, baseline left, wraparound passes right into Rankin's hands, turned over. Rankin pushing the floor from right to left in the second half for the defenders. Up top, Viss on the left lane line drive, right in, and down for 2.
Took him off the right, and he was gladly went to the left. Yep. He's just natural. He's smooth.
14 points for Jacob Viss, now leads all scorers in this game. Inside to Mason Walters. Backing down, help comes, kick out, Gassner, 15-foot jump shot. This one rimmed out. Loose ball, Kopic throws it back in for Viss. Bodies all around him, and kicked out ahead. Numbers for Dordt up the floor. Rankin in for Kopic, down underneath. Ball was deflected, but still picked up and laid in by Bleeker.
Kind of a perfect start for Dordt here, and definitely not the scenario for us.
50 seconds into the second half of play, 46-42. Dordt in front of Jamestown. Jimmy's led by 7 in the first half. That was the largest lead. Gassner goes in. Viss with a block underneath. Gassner gets it back. Out for Chose. 10 on the shot clock. Chose curls it in. Mason Walters spins right into his defender. They're going to call him for a travel.
Yeah, just a little bit of happy feet again. I think right now maybe even for him is when you catch, turn and face. Don't even play back to the basket right now. Turn and face and just shoot that little jumper.
Marcus Sherwood, the Jimmy bench, jumping along, trying to get the fans back into this game out of the halftime break. Rankin, lay-in doesn't go. A little bit more contact here to start the second half. Kind of feel like the physicality will pick up as we continue
Absolutely.
through. 18 and a half minutes. Jamestown leading or trailing by 4. Chose scoops it high off the glass. No good. Walters put back, and there's a foul underneath on Lorenzen.
Looked like he almost just grabbed the arm there and wasn't able to get up and finish that. That's how Chose kind of started this game, obviously, a little runner like that, and I love that action. We'll need that out of him.
And sometimes that alley has just opened up for him, and
Absolutely.
He's taken it through. Twice today we've seen it. Walters at the free throw line. First attempt is in. Mason Walters, 83% at the free throw line this season.
And part of that, on those penetrations, because Viss is sitting so far off, you really got to look for something quick, or you're going to have those pop options as well.
Walters goes 2 for 2. 78% career free throw shooter here at Jamestown in the Jimmy uniform. 2-point lead for Dordt. Rankin, the southpaw, calls out the play, goes with the screen from Viss. Back out to Viss, 2-man action here. Rankin, right elbow, and good.
That's been kind of that little honey hole for him as well.
Both Rankin and Cordes very similar in terms of that mid-range game. Gassner up top 3, whirls through. That's a huge one.
I think that's just it. You've got to almost stay away from that short corner right now. He saw his last 3 go through, give him another opportunity. That was a perfect look.
Lorenzen for Viss up top, hand off to Kopic. Double team help comes. Kopic filters out, right corner 3 for Lorenzen. High off the rim, rebound underneath, and a foul on the floor on Jamestown.
It's a good foul. You know, in great offensive position on the board right there. I have no problem with that foul. It's a good foul right there.
Dordt arguing that it was
and they can
shooting.
bank for that all they want. That was a rebound where he was fouling.
Rankin inbounding underneath, 20 on the shot clock for the defenders, and a 1-point lead for Dordt. Inbound, straight inside, and a block by Woodford. He's called for the foul as Bleeker will shoot 2.
They're out of bounds. We've got a couple out of bounds plays that have kind of given us an issue on that pick-to-picker type of action right there. Just a matter of sit and accept.
Bleeker, the guy you don't want to send to the line for Dordt, 90% on the season, and right on cue.
There you go. Usually we do that to the Jimmies.
Exactly.
It's nice to see it happen somewhere else.
Sometimes ball doesn't lie. Looked like Woodford maybe got him on the body, but it was clean on the ball side.
I almost thought it looked like he tapped the elbow a little bit on the way through, and that's anytime if that elbow turns, it becomes the easiest one to call.
Bleecker goes 1 for 2, 49-47. Jamestown trailing Dordt 17-25. Second half in the GPAC postseason championship for men's basketball here at Harold Newman Arena. Chose up top, Walters down to the court. It's Woodford to the right side. Cordes. Jamestown looking for a entry in for Walters. Face up, go baseline, short, and it's Lorenzen with a rebound. Rankin towards the left corner. Bleecker stopped by Cordes. Back out up top to Rankin. Kopic in for Viss. Gassner trying to wall up. Jacob Viss going downhill. Stripped free by Walters.
Good help.
And
Great
Viss a little bit behind the play, getting back. Cordes goes inside. Play in good. And we're tied at 49.
Really big 2 possessions right there, back to back, to get that energy back.
Dordt trying to go quickly. Rankin for Viss. That's what Jamestown needs more of, the initial stop to make Dordt actually get into their offense a little bit. Right side drive and beat Walters to the glass, did Lorenzen.
And that time Mason just let up a little bit. If you watched, he kind of settled in, stood up, and kind of allowed that second penetration. A little bit of a hesitation.
Chose in front of his own bench, dribbling inside, out. Gassner, another 3, just off the iron. Underneath, rebound for Lorenzen. 51-49 Dordt. Quick pass ahead. Bleecker towards the right corner for 3, and it's a 5-point Dordt lead.
Transition defense. We're just not locating bodies quick enough right now.
4 minutes off the clock here in the second half. 54-49 Dordt in the GPAC championship for men's basketball. Chose around the arc to the right side. Looked in at Walters. Now Walters sets a screen. Chose will step back instead. Deep 3 ball. Oh my!
That's what you call creating separation. My goodness.
Kopic inside, kiss the window. He's looking for a foul. Walters is down on the other end for Jamestown. Quick 3 from Woodford is through.
It looks like a little bit of a tweak of the ankle. I don't think it's a major one. I think he actually tweaked a little bit earlier and then just kind of did it again there. So I think he'll be all right. It's just a matter of right now give him a little break and make sure you keep that thing loose. You don't want it stiffening up.
Full timeout for Jamestown. 56-55, Dordt in front, but huge threes back to back there for the Jimmies. That's the offense you're looking for if you're Jamestown. We're back to Newman Arena in 30 seconds. Dordt has the lead on Jamestown with 15 minutes and 22 seconds to go in the second half. I'm Jaron Matheny alongside Luke Anderson on the gym and Jimmie Athletics on YouTube. And Luke, we just talked about it going into the break, but Chose, then Woodford from the outside. Those are the quick pull threes. Jamestown hits, and then it feels like they settled down.
Yeah, absolutely gives them that little bit of momentum, a nice little push. And right now, we need to be feel really fortunate this is a one-point game right now because it feels like they've outplayed us, but we're sitting right where we would like to be.
Energy back inside the building here at Newman Arena as well. Viss against Linus on the near side corner. Viss dumps in. Kopic wrap around underneath. Lorenzen. Help comes from Woodford. Strip 3. Cole Woodford now alone in third place all time in steals in a single season in Jimmie history. That's his 55th steal of the year.
I thought he was going to pull that one maybe in transition there.
Woodford, volleyball line. Linus right back to him. Midway through the shot clock. Cordes, it's a fire of a pass from Woodford. Cordes dribbles, nifty move, turns around, jumper, short, and collected underneath, and then thrown off of Jamestown.
All there but the finish. I mean, everything looked really good to right there, and and part of that's how they're going to handle that screen, and maybe you'd like to see him pull the trigger on the perimeter, but you sure can't complain about the shot he got.
14:37 second half. Lorenzen off the floor. He's carried some big minutes tonight for Dordt, trying to guard Mason Walters.
Yes, he has. They've had some role players. I mean, some of their guys really step up.
Lusher back into the game for Dordt. He had 2 fouls in the first half and really didn't get going on the offensive side of the ball like he did here at the end of the regular season. Kopic down low to Viss. Linus placed on his hip. Viss spins to his left shoulder. Right hook doesn't drop this time. Jamestown's got numbers up the floor. 5-on-4. Chose off right. Woodford wide open 3. Missed it. Offensive rebound. Linus, and he's fouled.
That was a great call. He ended up just kind of got pulled to the floor right there. Linus did a great job just rim running. Get to that rim. Get those second chance opportunities. I almost think you got to dig on this a little bit down here defensively.
Yeah.
You know, so when he's catching, as soon as he puts that ball on the floor, dig it hard and make him play through that and try and kick out from there.
Colby Vasquez in for Cole Woodford. 14:08 second half, 56-55. Coach Van Haften has passed midcourt, wanted to talk to the officials. Jamestown basketball underneath.
This is actually doing us a little bit of a favor just because the crowd's getting fired up all of a sudden.
And they're going to walk Coach Van Haften back to his stool. Jamestown basketball trailing by 1. It is the GPAC championship here in the postseason. Gassner straight inside against Lusher, into the paint. Gassner dribbles down to the right block, went to step through, walled off. Shot clock down to 10. Gassner flips in the middle for Linus. Back out to Cordes. Shot clock at 6. Cordes downhill. Stops. Look to spin. Inside to Linus. 2-1. Linus hook shot front iron. Not a great look for Jamestown.
No. Late shot clock is always tough. We were just a little bit unorganized.
Kopic. Back to where we're seated on this side of the floor for Rankin. Screen left side. Viss. Rankin downhill. And wow, floats it over the top of 2 defenders in for 2.
Great touch off high glass.
Left-handed finish for Luke Rankin. Jamestown trails by 3. Gassner left wing. Back towards the top, and Vasquez gives up for Chose. 15 to work. Chose driving inside. Back for Linus. Too strong on the finish. Tapped out and picked up by Rankin.
Sometimes it's just a matter of collecting and powering up. Right now, it's almost a little bit of hot potato scenario.
Inside, underneath, wide open on the back door. Bleeker lays it in. Defenders back up by 5.
A little bit of defensive confusion, it appears.
60-55, Dordt. Chose off to the left wing. Vasquez dribbles straight inside. Try to get Bleeker off his feet. Puts the shot up anyway. And Dort's got a chance to take their largest lead of the game now.
Just not a lot of continuity from us offensively.
Rankin to Viss. Dribbles in on Linus. And a foul as Linus came down with a left hand. Should be on the floor. Oh. He's going to the free throw line.
I think you just got to pull it out of his hands right now. We're just having a hard time one-on-one. Maybe that's that dig again right there.
Viss shooting 2. Sinks the first. That's just the 3rd team foul on Jamestown. Walters and Woodford back in for the Jimmies.
6-point game, crucial 5-minute stretch here right now. Just making sure that you keep this, you're in touch.
High note is on the floor for Dordt. Second free throw for Viss. Got them both. 62-55. Dordt has their largest lead today here on the road at Newman Arena in the GPAC postseason championship. Conference tournament all ends tonight here in Jamestown. Cordes and a foul on High note. Way up top. That's the 3rd on the defenders.
And it just changes everything depending on who your screener is. You know, those pick and pop scenarios, the rolls, and what are you going to do with that screen and how are they handling it. And so if we don't get a post entry from Gassner, stay weak side.
Up top, Gassner wide open. Top of the key 3. Rimmed off. And underneath, Walters is fouled.
Absolutely, great position. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, he literally displaced him as soon as he attempted to jump there. That was the right call.
The official right to Lusher and said you had your hook in him.
Yep, absolutely.
Exactly what the call was there. Jamestown trailing by 7. But again, it might be go up top to Reed Gassner, and if he can make the threes, you're going to be able to win this game. Woodford inside for 2.
Really good attack, just not settling, getting it deeper into a better shot.
8 minutes off the clock here in the second half, 62-57 Dordt. Trey Hinote running the offense as Rankin is off the floor currently. Don't see that very often for Dordt. Kopic in for Viss, pass deflected. Chose got the timeout. Oh my, that's a break for Jamestown.
I'll tell you what, that's big time. Before he even started down, as soon as it hit his hands, he was calling timeout, and the official was sitting in a perfect spot to take that. Great play by Chose.
11:51 second half, 62-57, and the Dordt bench has got to be careful here. Just got a warning from the officials.
They're on the verge.
Yep.
Yeah, it is on the edge right now.
Jamestown basketball, and just a 30-second timeout. Jimmies didn't even want to talk. They just
retain possession.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Huge play from Mark Chose. And those are the things that add up in championship games.
Absolutely. The hustle plays, those difference plays, and that was one.
5-point lead for Dordt, but it's Jamestown basketball. Just under 12 minutes remaining. Starting 5 out there for the Jimmies. Is there a chance if this game stays close, they go all 11:50 here?
That's a high probability, probably even.
Woodford back to the left side. Chose looking in at Walters instead. Free throw line. Gassner left open. They'll let him take it, but he can't hit.
I think you almost have to dribble at that to force that up, and you could still drop down to your post.
High note for Viss. Hand off right side, Bleeker. Dribbles against Cordes. Bleeker goes straight into him and finishes for 2 more. Tough bucket.
Tough shot, because that was really good defense. Just a tough move.
64-57 defenders. Chose around a screen, going downhill, steps back. Cordes, deep 3, rims off, and right now a little bit of danger for Jamestown.
Yes, it is.
Kopic, straight inside, and 1.
And it looked like what happened is Chose kind of picked a spot that where he thought he was going, and as he stepped through on that Euro, he tried to slide a little bit and hit a tough shot. All the momentum right now with Dordt.
Lorenzen to the scorer's table for the defenders. He's in for Bleeker. Foul on Chose is his first, 4th team foul. 4 team fouls on either side. Possession arrow favors Dordt right now on a jump ball. Kopic hits the free throw, and for the first time today, somebody's up by double digits. It's Dordt up by 10.
Wow, they're letting them get after it for sure.
Lusher could have easily picked up his 4th personal foul right there. Chose, far side of the floor, filters up top for Cordes, swipes through against High Note, now driving right alley, jump shot for Gassner from the right corner is through.
And he's going to have to continue to take that. I shoot it with confidence. There was no thought in that one. He just let it rip.
Back to an 8-point deficit for Jamestown. Kopic spins to the left for High Note, looking in at Viss, and now the pass there. Walters walls him up, and a foul on Jamestown.
You know, that's unfortunate, because I think that's been a pretty consistent approach defensively for both squads right there. And I think part of the issue is so far away from the hoop, it makes it a little easier to see that from multiple points.
High Note to inbound underneath. In for Lorenzen towards his own bench in the corner. Woodford 5-on-5 here. Spin inside, and a foul on Jamestown.
The foul situation will definitely creep in here too. You know, as we get later, right now we got 6 fouls. Next foul puts them in the bonus in the 10-minute mark, essentially.
And it gives them a chance to breathe a little bit too here for Dordt. Viss has been on the floor a long time. Hands on the hips right now for both the big men underneath. First free throw rattles in for Lorenzen.
I think we got to run some tempo right now. We got to get up and down the floor, get it back to our style of basketball right now.
Luke Rankin on for Bryce Kopic. So Lusher, Viss, Lorenzen, High Note, and Rankin. The 5 on the floor for Dordt. Defenders go back up by 10 with a made free throw from Lorenzen. 69-59, Dordt, 10-15, second half. Hand off on the right wing, Cordes around a screen, pull up, free throw line, jumper, and it's off the left side of the iron, kicked out. Midway through the second half, Jimmie's trailing by 10 after we were tied at 42 at the break. High note was in, then back out for Viss. They're trying to get it back there to Lorenzen. Gassner on the switch off, Lorenzen backs down into the paint, up top, Rankin, now for Viss. 7 on the shot clock, Rankin, kick to the left, high note, thought about the three, Chose in his face, high note, launches, and hits. It's a 2, 71-59.
Really good defensive possession, just a tough shot.
Walters for Vasquez, they're sagging off of him too. Vasquez drives straight inside, pulls up and hits. That's what you got to see.
Absolutely, if you're going to sit, I'll take it to you. I almost think we could go with a little bit of a small lineup right now, stretch the floor and make this guard a little bit.
71-61 Dordt. Rankin double screens up top, hand off for high note. Viss top of the key. Approaching 9 minutes to play. Right side Lorenzen backed out for Viss. And now Rankin, 10 on the clock. It's a screen, step back 3, Rankin. Jamestown fortunate, that kicked off.
Very lucky, a little missed assignment, almost tried to go under it instead of a fight over the top.
And the problem with Dordt is they shoot such a high efficiency. It's hard to come back in games like this. Back out, Vasquez for 3, line drive off the heel, into the air, and a foul underneath. It's against Dordt, and Walters going after the rebound.
And that's just that will. I got to go find the ball. I got to find a way.
Lorenzen's third, 5th team foul on Dordt. 71-61, Dordt on top. Chose with sweat pouring down his chest. Walters for 3. Huge shot for Jamestown.
And that's a big spark plug right now. Got it under, got 10 mark. Let's make a run right now.
Rankin thumbs down with a left hand, looking for motion, screen left from Viss, trying to quiet this crowd. It's been resurrected here in Jamestown. Rankin, downhill drive, inside the free throw line, contested shot, and just not a good look for Dordt. Got to push if you're Jamestown. Vasquez off for Chose, Gassner to the right. Cordes into Walters. Now Jamestown trying to move for isolation. Mason Walters, Chose left corner, Gassner up fake. Now Walters again, dribbles inside, spins. Walters goes up and he's fouled.
There we go.
Perfect time for him to go up.
Absolutely. Points. When you can put points on the board with the clock stopped in a situation like this, I mean that's just bonus points right there.
71-64. Dordt in front, Jamestown at the line shooting 2. And Walters now 3 for 3, and if I'm not mistaken, yeah, he's the only guy that's been at the line for Jamestown.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he had all 5, or what was it? No, there was none in the first half.
And he's only had now the 3 here in the second half. Dordt at 12 free throws. Attempt number 2 for Mason Walters to try and make it a 5-point game and put Jamestown on a little bit of a run here. Falls through. Walters 4 for 4 at the line. Newman Arena back up and louder than it has been in a while. 71-66 Dordt. Rankin to the left elbow for Viss. Hand off to Kopic. Can't get around Cordes. Viss on the inside. Good shade over from Walters. Now Rankin cuts down inside. Pull up and missed it wide. Rebound to Chose. Jamestown can bring it back to a possession with a bucket here. Looking straight in at Walters. Here it is. 3 bodies around him. Walters gives up on the baseline. Gassner back out for Walters. Midway through the shot clock. Walters backs down. The senior and hometown kid kicks out left corner. Gassner the 3. Yes!
Big time. Caught with confidence.
2-point ball game. GPAC championship in a postseason tournament for men's basketball. Viss goes to the left shoulder. Kissed it off the window and down. Timeout Dordt. 73 73-69. Defenders with a lead on Jamestown, but the Jimmies just went on a 10-0 run before that bucket from Viss.
What a run for the Jimmies right there. I mean, that is a tough finish. That was great defense. He walled them up well. Right now, all the energy is in our side now. We need to keep it going.
And Van Haften sensing that calls for the timeout. Dordt will look to reset on the defensive side. Jamestown basketball when we return to Newman Arena. 73-69. Dordt in front. 6:48 to play in the second half for a postseason title. Well, the snow must be continuing to fall at a rapid pace outside because there's no school tomorrow.
I just got a notification. Virtual day tomorrow. So
73-69. Dordt with the lead on Jamestown here at beautiful Harold Newman Arena on the gym, and Jimmie Athletics on YouTube. Jared Matheny, Luke Anderson, glad you're with us. Jamestown basketball out of the timeout. What do you want to see on this possession, Luke, from the Jimmies?
I think good patience here. You know, if we can get some kind of a set to get a good look, I wouldn't mind seeing something for Chose coming off almost. You bring him up on a little bit of a zipper up the top of the key, but everybody on the floor is playing pretty darn well for the Jimmies right now.
Gassner driving against Belis, goes straight into it, missed the lay-in, a lot of contact underneath, and now a jump ball. Possession belongs to Dordt, but it's starting to get physical, and Dort's got to be careful again here.
It's one of those, you retain possession, so you sometimes, even if you disagree, you just turn and go.
Yeah.
At that point. You know, it was a very physical drive. I love the drive from Gassner. It looks like they almost isolated him on that elbow to attack.
6.5 underneath that now in the second half. Dordt up by 4. Rankin drives around, moving screen, and we're headed the other way.
Yeah. And that one was an obvious one. You can see right now, everybody's like, yep, we got the moving.
Yeah, Dordt parents don't like it, but it was pretty blatant on the other side.
Their coach had no problem. He understood. And that's those chances you take. I mean, honestly, when you're struggling to score, you take those chances and put it on somebody to make that call.
6:15, second half. Jimmy's trail by 4. Cordes backing in against Rankin. Belis with a reach in on some help. Gassner way out wide. 15 to work. Back towards the right corner. It's Woodford around a couple screens, dribbling inside against Lorenzen. Spinned out. Oh, just spun around and out for Jamestown. Rankin up ahead, step through, back right. Easy lay-in goes for Lorenzen.
Yeah, got to get back in transition a little bit quicker.
75-69 Dordt. 5:45 second half. Cordes, handoff right wing for Chose. Gassner, high pass in for Walters. Belis out. Gassner gets it back, takes the 3. Too strong.
Looked good from here when it first come off the hands.
Reed Gassner's got 20 points for Jamestown. Belis inside, step through, left hook, and 1.
And that's that mini run right now. You know, 69-73. Now we're up to 69-77 in a matter of about 3 trips.
And it's Camden Belis once again off the bench.
Monster minutes from him tonight.
Looking for his 10th point of the night. And 1 free throw for Belis. Short. Gassner to it. Jimmy's trail by 8. You got to have that run here.
Yeah, it's got to be right now.
Walters, right wing, Chose around a screen left, dribbles in, back up high for Walters, taken away by Lorenzen.
Just quality of possession right now is our issue.
5 minutes left in this game. 77-69 Dordt. Defenders looking for their first postseason championship in the GPAC in 10 years. Jamestown looking for the first one since 19. Loose ball out of bounds, and it stays with Dordt. 10 on the shot clock.
I almost wonder right now offensively we could go a little bit of a pick and pop scenario, have Mason pick that at the top because they're kind of sitting on Chose's penetration. You could pop that out. Mason shot it decent from the perimeter tonight here as well. Had probably more luck out there right now.
Yeah. Kopic checks the shot clock. 7 to work. Dribble right side. Kopic going inside. Kicks out left corner. Lorenzen for 3. And that one came high off the backboard. 8-point deficit for Jamestown. But again, offense has to start moving. Right corner. Woodford onto the baseline drive. Wraps around. Gassner extra touch pass. Jimmies move the ball back. Woodford left wing 3. And whistle for the travel.
We gave up 3 great shots. Yep. Any one of those are a great look, and we've got to be willing to take them, especially late in the game like this.
Jimmy's trying to clap along on the bench, keep the energy in this building, but that could be a big turnover late.
You know, right now it's going to be them being very patient offensively.
Left side, Viss against Gassner. In front of his own bench, Viss up top, extended from the free throw line, dribble in, Kopic to the right side, Lorenzen. A lot of contact, no foul there. That's a break for Jamestown.
Yes, it is.
4 minutes left. Chose, quick trigger off the front iron. And right now the Jimmies have gone cold.
It just has that feel, you know, sometimes you're like, it just doesn't feel like the night, and I hate to say it, but it just, right now we're just not there.
Rankin taking his time, patient, out up top for Dordt. This, Kopic pulls the 3, can't get the bank to go. Walters on the glass. Not a great look there for Dordt. Felt a little rushed. 3.5 minutes to go. Chose up top, Gassner to the right. Woodford dumps in for Walters. Double team comes, Gassner out for 3. That's a huge shot again.
Big time hit. I think we could get that earlier in the shot clock too right now, the way they're sitting, and we're going to have to count on some of that right now. 5-point game.
Back to a 5-point game, 77-72. Dordt in front, coming up on 3 minutes to go. Bleeker against Cordes. Back to the left wing. Rankin dumps down inside Lorenzen. Extended left block, 15 feet out. Trying to back in on Walters. Now going to work. Pull-up jumper for Lorenzen. It's off. Jamestown can cut it to a possession here. Cordes, who's been quiet here in the second half, in for Walters. Should have been a foul. Gassner, top of the key, 3, short.
I'll tell you what.
Got to see that whistle on the inside.
It's getting nasty inside right now. There's elbows. It's getting wild.
Rankin slows it down up top.
Both ways, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, they're battling.
Viss off for Bleeker towards the left corner. Lorenzen back up top to Viss. Inside of 10 to work. Rankin back off. Viss, top of the key, 3 at the horn for the middle schoolers, and it hits for Viss, 80-72.
That's a tough one. We've got to get pace right now. We've got to get quick looks, and it's as simple as you got to knock shots down.
Trailing by 8. Chose off. Walters takes the 3. Spin is good. Down by 5. Timeout Jamestown. 1:53 to go. Full timeout for the Jimmies.
That's that pick and pop action right at the top of the key. Spread out the floor a little bit. Great hit for Mason. 5 points, minute 53, plenty of time, but it's a matter of you've got to get a stop.
80-75, Dordt leads Jamestown. Back to Newman Arena right after this. 1:53 to go in the championship game. to 75. Dordt leading Jamestown. 1 minute, 53 seconds remaining in the GPAC postseason championship game. Jaron Matheny, Luke Anderson, glad you're with us. Snowy Tuesday night to end February here in Jamestown. And right now, the Jimmies have to lock in on defense, find a way to get a stop against this potent offense of Dordt.
That's all it is. It's all about one stop right now. We've got to have a stop to have a shot here down the stretch.
Bleeker, Kopic, Viss, Rankin, and Lorenzen on the floor. Starting five for both teams as Gassner, Walters, Chose, Cordes, and Woodford make the lineup for Jamestown. 1:53 to go. Jimmy fans rising to their feet in some parts of the arena. Optivists. Plenty of time here offensively for Dordt. Rankin dribbling inside, left-handed lay-in, gets to his spot, and it's a 7-point Dordt lead.
Gotta have a quick look.
Under 90 seconds remaining. Chose in for Walters. Again, it's Lorenzen against him defensively. Walters goes straight up, and teardrop falls.
See if we don't bring a little bit of full court just to make them. You see Coach kind of prod them on, like, hey, let's get up and guard. Make them do something quick.
Rankin looks up at the clock. Will trickle under a minute to play here on this possession. Final 60 seconds of the GPAC championship. Rankin goes left. Out for Kopic. Kopic looks up. 5 seconds to go. Kopic, pull-up jumper inside the three-point line. Missed it. Jimmies have a chance. Doors open. 40 seconds to go. Jamestown basketball. Trailing by 5. Chose outright. Cordes in for Walters. He swipes through against Lorenzen. Trying to go up. Walters banks it in. One possession. Gotta have a foul. Gotta have a foul here for Jamestown. Not enough time in the shot clock difference.
It's got, and Coach is asking for it right now, and it's got to be now.
Got a foul if you're Jamestown. Only a 2-second difference between shot and game clock, and now the foul comes on Kopic about 15 seconds later than it should have.
It looked like they were trying to get the ball in his hands, though. I guess I didn't see. I'm just kind of looking at free throw percentage right now. He's an 81% free throw shooter, so I'm not sure there's where the choice was, because at one point Rankin had it in his hands.
Don't want Bleeker, that's for sure.
Absolutely not. I think Rankin had it there for a second at 69%. It still comes down to you got to make the shot, but we just lost probably a possession, if not two. Potentially with a quick foul, and then you get down the floor.
1-and-1 free throws for Kopic. Front end. Rimmed out.
Big time.
Jimmy's down by 3. 12 seconds to go. Championship in the GPAC postseason tournament. Timeout, Jamestown.
See, Coach Neville knew what he was doing the whole time.
Right.
Just get the right guy at the line.
He's man, that's heart attack over here.
Talk about a tough spot to be in. So, what is your late game set? What have you run in your specials all year? What have you been working on?
And are you looking here, 11.5 seconds left? Is it 3 only, or is it, can you get a quick inbound to Mason and see if you can make it work?
If you can get it quick, yes. You know, the problem is you're inbounding from the sideline right now, so you're going to have a pretty lengthy pass in there. So if it's anything out top, you almost wonder if you'd like to get a quick look and see if you can't have an opportunity for a second chance putback. I don't know. This is the stuff you work on a few minutes of practice. This is your special situation. This sideline, this is what we're looking for. Now it's all about execution.
On the other side for Dordt, how do they guard Reed Gassner in this situation, because they've been leaving him on the outside all day?
I think you have to run anybody off the line right now. You want to put them in a situation where you can maintain the lead regardless. So you don't want to foul, but you don't want to have that opportunity to tie that up right away. So run them off the line is the biggest thing right now.
82-79, Dordt leading Jamestown, 11.5 seconds left. We said it in the halftime report. We could be seeing overtime.
I'd be A-okay with overtime right now.
Gassner to inbound. Starting 5 out there for the Jimmies, trailing by 3 with 11.5 seconds remaining. Here's the inbound. Chose. Fouled immediately by Lusher, and that was the game plan for Dordt.
Interesting.
1-and-1 free throws.
I mean, they did a good job allowing, what was it, 3 seconds? 4 seconds run off the clock. So, I mean, a good idea as far as before they get into it. I kind of like the way they played that.
It's the 4th on Lusher. They'll leave him in the game, bring Bleeker back in for Lorenzen. Lusher 68%, Lorenzen 73% free throws. Jimmy Linus is on for Jamestown. 1-and-1 for Mark Chose. Here's the front end of the 1-and-1 for Chose. Got it. 2-point game. That's the thing for Dordt here, is now you've opened up the door potentially to a loss.
Absolutely. Well, and you can do it, you play it 100 times and have so many different outcomes, but it's a matter of creating possessions. Cho's second free throw is through. 1-point game. Jamestown going to look to foul right away. Reed Gassner coming in for Jimmy Linus. That was the sub for a rebound potential there for Jamestown. And now Dordt They're saying he was not to the table in time, I believe is what they're going to say right now.
So they'll put Linus back in the game. Jimmies only have one timeout remaining. And Jamestown's got a foul here anyway.
Yeah, it really shouldn't change anything here.
Walters will turn his back to the basketball, looking for Kopic on the inbound. They get it there. He's fouled. But Kopic just missed a front end of the 1-and-1. They'll send him back to the other side where the Jimmy baseball players are waiting for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And if he makes both, it's still one possession.
Exactly.
2 big-time free throws by Chos.
8.5 seconds to go. And what I talked about with opening up the door for a loss is this.
Yep.
If Kopic misses a free throw here or goes 1 of 2, you've opened the door to lose this game potentially.
Absolutely.
Raucous environment. Front end is good.
Plenty of time for possession. We do have 1 timeout left, so you could still advance the ball, get yourself that great look. The problem is, with their foul situation, they may do the very same thing.
Second free throw. Kopic got them both. And now Dordt probably looking to foul again. Inbound for Chos. Pushes up the floor. Foul. Timeout first for Jamestown.
I'm glad the timeout got in there.
They were looking for a foul. Bleeker was trying to foul.
You got to have a primary and a secondary option off this inbound. So you're looking for something that's a catch and shoot. You know they're going to foul in this situation. Try and make sure you don't have that opportunity to tie it up. So you have your primary, whether that be, you have a double stagger, whatever that is, for something coming out to the baseline, and then you bring somebody back up to the top. But you essentially need that secondary option because that may be where you get that look without the opportunity to foul.
And now Dordt in that huddle, the discussion is Jamestown's probably looking to take a quick 3 here. You got to be careful.
Absolutely. Just run them off the line. If you're fouling before a shot can ever possibly go up. Make sure you don't give them 3 shots at the line. Yeah, you can do all types of things defensively as far as you can get into foul in this situation. You know what I mean? So there's also things you can do offensively. I would have referenced this before, but you run a little bit of an out of bounds where you pass it back and then it comes back in. You set a screen to try and pick up an easy foul, but right now we need 3.
Right.
That's as simple as it gets.
6.4 seconds left. Jamestown trailing by 3 in the GPAC championship postseason game. Jimmies down by 3, looking for quick catch and shoot. Gassner goes inbound left side. Walters gets it, flips it off for Woodford, and Woodford's 3 was off, but a foul first, as I believe Lusher just fouled Walters. Yep. If that's the case, that's his 5th.
And again, 5 seconds. I mean, you certainly can. The tough part is you need 2 makes. You're going to get a 1-second runoff probably at the least. You're at 4 seconds, so you're going to have something pretty special ready to go.
1-and-1 free throws first for Mason Walters. And this is the 9th team foul by Dordt.
I think Coach Nemmel has a valid.
Yeah. Ball was
in Mason's hands. Yeah, but you know what? You got to make them regardless. So.
Yeah. 1-and-1 free throws here for Jamestown. Jump ball favors the Jimmies on the arrow if that comes into play. Both teams are going to be in the double bonus after these free throws from Walters.
So if Cooper Olsen just checked into the game for the Jimmies right now. So I'm anticipating something along the lines of you're going to have Linus and Cooper in there. You got to try and get a tip out for that second opportunity, something that you can get late. In the case of a miss, in particular, if you have a miss on your first free throw, then you got to, it's got to be tipped out to somebody else.
Cooper Olsen is in for Chos. So it's Olsen, Linus, Woodford, Cordes, and then Mason Walters at the free throw line. 1-and-1. Front end doesn't drop. Ball tapped around. Kopic picks it up, and he was out of bounds. They may believe. Officials are going to get together and talk about it. Student section for Jamestown adamant that he stepped on the end line.
I couldn't see it from here. I couldn't see it. I could not see it.
And if he did step out, it would have been before the foul, but that pretty much does it.
Yeah.
Kopic.
I mean, it would take, any make obviously definitely does it right now.
2 free throws for Kopic. to give Dordt their first GPAC title in 10 years. Got it. And not only will the defenders be moving on to the national tournament, they'll do it on a 4-game win streak with a GPAC postseason championship to their name for the first time in 10 years. 3 seconds left.
They've just put out a great performance tonight. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Woodford from half court, and that's it. The Dordt defenders are GPAC men's basketball postseason champions. Dordt defeats Jamestown 86-81, and the defenders are on top of the GPAC world in the postseason for the first time since 2013.
Great game plan, great execution. I mean, Dordt played a heck of a ball game. There's no doubt about it. I think they did a really nice job just staying steady. Viss was a beast all night long. Their guard play was good. They just had a great game plan here today.
86-81, the final score here in the GPAC championship game. Head coach Danny Neville joining us on the post-game show. Coach, what was the biggest difference in that second half for Dordt to get the win?
I mean, look at the opening half. You know, they go on a big 4-0 run right there, and you know, granted they're a great team, and we just didn't play our best tonight.
What do you want to see from your group here as we make our way towards the national tournament the next week in practice to get them prepared and ready to go?
It's got to get. It's got to get consistently tougher. So.
Is that something you look at inside Camden Belis, especially today, just the toughness?
They killed us in the side, so we just got to do a better job.
All right, Coach. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. See ya.
86-81, Dordt victorious over Jamestown, GPAC postseason championship final. And Luke Anderson joining us once again. Luke, and you know, you look at the final numbers, 57% from the field for Dordt, points in the paint, plus 28 for the defenders.
Yeah, Coach hit on it there when you were just talking to him. We got beat up inside, and there's no doubt about it. That's where the game was won tonight by Dordt. They just pounded us in the paint, and they did it on the defensive end too. We had no success offensively in the paint. It's one thing when we're not scoring, you know, when they're scoring in the paint, but for us to not have that response was the big difference tonight. So great execution by Dordt, and congratulations to them on a big win. And obviously, I think you said first time in 10 years,
yep.
And congratulations to that program. Big win for them.
Only 6 turnovers on each side today as well. It was a very clean basketball game. The officiating was great from start to finish. It was consistent from start to finish. That's all you're looking for. Jacob Viss with 21 points and 8 rebounds. Luke Rankin, 16 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. But I think if we're naming a player of the game for Dordt, it's Camden Belis and what he provided off the bench for the defenders. He was humongous in this championship game.
Huge minutes. I mean, he came in a stretch in the first half when we were on a little run. He pretty much started. I think he had 6 or 7 in that 5-minute stint.
Yep.
Came in the second half, had a similar run. They had some of their role guys step up in a big way, and obviously the result shows those adjustments.
9 points to go along with 3 rebounds for Belis, but the bigger thing, he went 4 for 4 from the field. He touched it, he put it in, and he was 1 for 2 at the free throw line as well. It's a Dordt side that's very talented, to say the least. They had 5 in double figures, and then Belis with 9. You're not going to win those games on the other side, even for Jamestown having 4 guys in double figures.
Yeah, and it's a matter of, it comes down 86-81. I mean, both teams scoring roughly where they average on the season. It's not, I mean, it's pretty typical of what you would expect to see here as far as 2 really good basketball teams playing. It almost feels to me a little bit like Dordt just kind of has our number.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems to be a good matchup for them and one of our tougher matchups. Part of that is that matchup scenario with us and Viss, and then obviously Belis coming off the bench and providing some big minutes. And then they did a really good job protecting the paint defensively tonight. There was nothing easy inside for Mason, who's had obviously a tremendous season. And the beauty of this is, as a coach, you go in the locker room, this is where we decide our words pretty carefully sometimes. You know, we did not win the game we wanted to win tonight. We did not pick up the championship. But with that being said, our bigger goal is still out there for us.
Yeah.
You know, and we're hosting. So this season is not over. We still have an opportunity. You want to win that last game on your home court, and we still have that opportunity. So it's going to be really important for this team to turn the page quick. On to the next thing.
23 points for Reed. Reed Gassner tonight, 6 rebounds for him, 20 points for Mason Walters, 11 rebounds. That's his 70th career double-double coming here tonight for the Jimmies. Will Cordes, 14 points. He had 12 of those in the first half. It felt like Jamestown didn't really get him involved enough in that second half of play. They were trying to get Mason, and I totally understand that, but when Will got to the elbow, got to that mid-range game today, he was untouchable.
I just thought we were disjointed offensively altogether. I mean, we didn't have a lot of flow plays. We didn't have when we did, we'd have an 8-10 point run. And then it seems like we'd either get one-sided or we just lacked that ball movement a little bit, or we got focused on one area. And we didn't hit shots. I mean, we didn't hit shots that we normally hit. And it's pretty simple in this game. You don't put it through the hole, you're going to come off on the wrong end of it many times.
Reed Gassner, 22 field goal attempts here tonight, and again, a couple of them, you just kind of shake your head and go, if those ones that were halfway down pop back out, go through, Jamestown wins this game, and it's a whole different story. But
absolutely,
that's a tough mental game for Reed to try and go through now and reset himself, and knowing that was the right shot. Almost every time he shot the ball tonight, 22 times, you think, hey, sometime in there wasn't a good look, but I can't remember off the top of my head one shot for Reed where I wasn't like, hey, all right, you can live with that.
Honestly, for me, I just look at it and say you're going to have to, because their game plan was pretty simple.
Yeah.
We're not going to allow the big man to beat us in the paint. Somebody else is going to have to hit shots. He was the guy they picked tonight. They were going to sit off of. Do we have somebody else go in that same role? I don't know that we do. You know, Linus is an entirely different player. Cooper Olsen's an entirely different player at that 4 spot. So it was a tough situation. He hits a couple of those. Obviously, we have a different game.
Right.
And there was multiple that were basically in and out. So, you know, tough night as far as the win-loss column goes. But Reed Gassner's got a lot of basketball played, a lot of basketball to still play, and we need him in these next games. So this truly is going to be about turning the page. You've got to turn the page and move on to tomorrow. There's an old saying in basketball, you remember your makes and forget your mistakes. And that's where he's got to be at right now on the entire Jimmy team.
86-81 the final score. Dordt victorious over Jamestown. Your 2023 GPAC champions are the Dordt Defenders with that 5-point win. And now Dordt moving on to the national tournament. Jamestown moving on to the national tournament. Selection show is on Thursday for the Jimmy women and the Jimmy men. They'll find out on Thursday where they are headed. GPAC awards come out tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. And then we'll see where Dordt's heading in the national tournament. Jamestown will be hosting. We know they'll be here at least on Tuesday of next week, and then hopefully Wednesday as well.
Who wants to play Dordt right now?
Nobody.
I sure wouldn't think so. They're playing fantastic basketball.
That's something I talked about briefly before the game, before we got on the air, is you see them, they're coming to your home floor to play in an opening round matchup. That is one team right now where you've got 2 potential All-Americans on that roster in Kopic and Viss. I don't think anybody wants a piece of Dordt. They reveal that bracket. Somebody's going to be taking a deep breath when they see Dordt coming to their region.
And then you had Rankin and Belis tonight on top of the 2 potential All-Americans. I mean, that's a solid basketball squad right there, and that's playing their best basketball at the right time, and that's exactly what you want as a coach. Best basketball at the end of the season.
86-81 the final score. Dordt victorious over Jamestown. We'll talk to you next Tuesday. I believe the start time is 6 p.m. for the first game in that first round for the national tournament. Jamestown will find out where they are going to play, who they're going to play against, not where they're playing because they're playing at home, who they're going to play against on Thursday, and then we'll start the postseason for the national tournament and NAI men's basketball on Tuesday of next week back here at Newman Arena. Jimmy's 2 wins away from Kansas City, and that's what the refocus has to come down to for Jamestown.
Absolutely. Turn the page. New season tomorrow.
86-81. Dordt defeats Jamestown in the GPAC championship game. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks, Luke, for all your help. And
absolutely. Have a blast with you. I appreciate it.
We'll get ready to roll for next week. Jamestown falls in the GPAC title game. We'll talk to you tomorrow. More sports at noon tomorrow. Spring training baseball for the Twins. More local sports on Thursday. We'll be at the WDA tournament. Girls basketball starts at 3:45.